Well, I'm up to the next step, which is putting the safety rails on. The floor itself is all finished. We got all that finished and screwed down, so that all looks good. I started putting some of the handrail safety rails up along the side there, and I'm sort of now down to this corner. I've got one at the top of the stairs, one there, the corner one, and one here. So I've got 4 more to do. And these poles are a heavy gauge steel, galvanised steel. I quite like the look of that. It's nice and solid, and obviously the pipe that we've got goes through here, and that'll be the next step once we get all the supports bolted in. I was looking at one stage of just putting something like a pool fencing or something along the edge here, but in the end it was just as easy to get these supplied, and these came from the same people that manufactured the staircase kit. So this was Advantage Industries supplied the stairs, and they also supplied the safety rails and the handrails, and they all sort of match in, and I quite like that industrial look as well, so I'm quite happy with that. Right, let's get this one bolted down. Okay, so that's bolted down now with these galvanised bolts. They go right through the floor and then through the steel, and then they're bolted underneath. And in the kit they also give you these stiffening plates, which are tech screwed onto here, and that just gives you extra support on the side there to stop sort of that channel flexing, and there's one that also goes on the other side over there. So I'll put those in later on once I've got the handrails finished. I've only got these bolts in hand tight because these may have to come out when I put the rails across between the 2 posts. Right, so it's time to do some work on the handrails now. So in this big long box I've got various lengths of tubing, and what they've supplied in the kit is 2 sizes of pipe. There's a 25mm pipe and a 32mm pipe, and they're all different lengths. There was a note in with the kit saying that these have to be cut to size on site, so I don't think they'll just fit straight in. We'll have to do some fiddling around and see what works best. So with those pipes, the slightly bigger pipes, the 32mm pipes, on my posts I've got up here, they go on the top rail, and then the middle and the bottom rail are the 25mm posts. So I'll get those out now. I'll get them up onto the mezzanine floor, and then I'll lay them out and see what we have to cut. Right, today's exercise is to get all the poles and put them into our upright posts to finish off the handrails upstairs. Apologies if my voice is a little bit rough. I've actually just come back from a week's holiday. My wife Kim and myself took a week off to get away, and the day I got back from holidays I found out I had COVID, so I've just actually been in bed for the last 3 or 4 days. It hit me a lot harder than what I thought it would. I thought it might have just been like a flu, but it actually knocked me around a bit, and I've still actually have lost my sense of smell and taste. So I hope that comes good. But I'm up today. I don't know how many hours I can do, but I want to just try and continue this on. I've got plans to bring up a whole heap of car parts and stuff, putting them up here to clean the floor off downstairs. So I want to sort of get these handrails sort of finished in the next day or so. And I've laid them out now, and I can see that some of them look to be the right length that will fit between the posts. So that should be quite a simple job. So there's 3 there and 3 there that should go in easy. The 2 smaller poles are the posts. So, what am I thinking? Rails. The rails are 25mm wide, and the top rail is 32mm wide. Along the front here, I've got a longer section of poles here, and they actually have to span through 3 of these posts, and I think they'll fit in quite well without being cut. And then up this end, I've got posts that are too long. And what I think I've worked out is that I have to cut these ones off and then pick those 3 up. And then those 3 actually come over here, and I use them at the end of the handrails that are coming up the side of the stairs. I think that's the section that goes in there. This section here is okay. I might have to trim an inch off it. The ones up there, I've got to trim about 2 inches off the ends to make those ones fit. But I've tried different combinations of laying them out different ways, and I think this is the only way that it's going to work. So let's tackle the easy stuff first. So I think I'll try these 2 sections here and try and get these in and see how they go. It's rather difficult. Let me say. Oh, I thought that was going to fall. And then get these in here. Oh, done. Whew. Not much room to move. Even had to take my hat off to fit under the roof. But this is the lowest point here, and still it's good to have the handrail here so nothing will fall off onto the workbench below. Anyway, that's another side done. Okay, so I've been going all right. I've got that side went in without cutting. These ones here, I've got to cut down. These ones, I had to swap these over. They weren't in the right position, so I've got to cut those ones. The big long ones in the front, they went in okay. Just had to loosen that corner post off a little bit so I could sort of lean it back to get those in, and then we put the side ones just in there. And now I'm onto this side here, and I'm thinking that these rails here will fit in and I won't have to cut them, but just have to loosen this pole off here a little bit, loosen that off so I can swivel it a little bit to get my rails through the center there. So that'll be the next job. Yeah, there we are. Here we go. Here we go. That's it. That's it. What I'm doing here is that if there's any chance that this pole might vibrate and come out of these posts, what I'm doing is just putting a Tek screw through here. And what I've done is I don't want to see the writing here, I want that to be on the bottom, so I put a Tek screw through there, and that holds that bar now nice and tight, and then I can just basically turn that round upside down so the Tek screws now is underneath and the writing's underneath, and now that bar is nice and tight in those fittings, and it's not going to slide out or vibrate loose. Right, I'm at the stage now of just trying to finish the handrails that go up beside the stairs, and what I've ended up with were some sections of pipe that are quite small, and I sort of wondered how I'm supposed to use these, and I've went back to the instructions here to actually look, and it actually says here that you have to join the remaining sections together with some of these pipe joiners, and so I think that's what I'm supposed to do. So there's a couple of different sizes here. This is one of the ones for the bigger pipe. So that basically just goes like that, and then don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm going to have to hold that up there, and then the joiner slots in the pipe like that, and then this bit will come over the top, slide down there somehow. Oh yeah. And then I'll use a Allen key on the top here and then expand that out, and that should be the join. So I think that's how you're supposed to finish it off. I would have probably maybe preferred if all this was one section all the way up here. As it is, I've got to put a join here and a join there, and then so I'm going to have a few joins, but luckily in the kit they gave me enough joiners to do the job, so I'll utilise that. I mean, I could go out and buy some new pipe, but I think that's probably a bit of an overkill. I think that'll be fine. One of the last jobs I want to do on the mezzanine floor project is just to cover up these rack units that are here that have all sorts of odds and ends on them, and it's pretty unsightly. I don't like the look of that. As you sort of come into the shed, you look basically into those rack units, and I think what I want to try and do is cover those over or disguise those a bit. And the other thing I don't like on the finish of the floor is where all these joins and stuff up here, there's a lot of things going on here which are a bit unsightly, so I wanted to sort of cover those up as well. And luckily I've managed to find that the gap between here and here is 64 millimetres, and I've actually found some metal studs that are exactly the same width that'll fit quite nicely up there. So what I've just knocked up is a metal stud frame here, which will is the same width as my rack units here, and I've just dyno bolted those to the floor channel that runs along there, and it fits in quite nicely and flush with the top up there. And what I can do is put some sheeting across this, which will cover up the back of those units, and I think it'll just look a lot better. So what I'm going to use is I've got some old corrugated iron here. Eventually in this shed, all of the walls inside this shed are all going to be done in old corrugated iron, and I've got a whole lot of these sheets that I bought from a farmer down the road that was a turkey farmer, and he was pulling apart one of his sheds, and I bought all the corrugated iron off him. Some of them have some nice patina and rust sort of happening on them. They're not rusty all over, which was a bit of a shame. I did want sheets that were completely rusty, but then I thought, well, if I do that, it might actually make the whole garage a bit too dark inside. So I'll start off with these and see how I go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these sheets on this stud wall here, and there'll probably be about 4, I think, that will fit across that 3 metre section there. So I'll get on and do that. Okay, so I've got those sheets on. They went on pretty well, fitted on the frame, so it's good. All that stuff there now is hidden on the racks behind, and I've got my rusting corrugated iron there. I dug out one of my collectible old Castrol signs and put it on the top there, and I'll work now around the sides here and put more corrugated iron. I've got a whole heap of more collectible old garage signs and stuff which I want to put up here over a period of time, so the project continues. And with that, I would probably say that this project is now complete. We've got our finished floor area here. The final size we've ended up with is 6 metres across the front, 4 metres down to this side, and about 2.9 metres to this side to the stairs. I'm sort of really happy with the overall finish of it. I'm glad that we've managed to get it done. Time-wise, I mean, it probably took us in total about 5 days maybe to do it. We did do it over a couple of weekends and so forth, so we didn't do it in 5 days straight, but I think if you were to do a project like this, you could probably allocate 5 or 6 days, something like that. What else have we done? So we've seen all these handrails go in this video. I'm quite happy with that sort of look. We could have ended up just using pool fencing, but really it was just as easy to get the supplier of the stairs to supply the handrails as well. I was hoping that these lights would have been changed by the time this last video was done. I've got to get these 2 lights taken out and some sort of batten light put in up the top here just to give us an even spread of light up here to get rid of these hot spots, but have to wait till the electrician comes back to do that. Floor looks good, happy with the floor. Finished the stairs, finished the handrails. Probably what I don't like particularly about the handrails is that it is done in sections, and it's got a joiner down there, and it's also got another joiner here, which I'm not really fussed about, but that's what it is. This handrail is a little bit loose still, and I think what I'll do is I'll just tether that back to this floor joist here and just strengthen that up a little bit. All the stair treads are finished, and I've put my fancy yellow strips on here. I was thinking that this broader part here should go on the top here, but when I put it on, it was actually coming up to this raised section here, which I didn't think it should be. So in the end, I just put it on the face of it like that. It still supplies enough sort of good tread there, so I think that'll do the job all right. But I like the stairs. They ended up being 1 metre wide, which was quite nice. They've been anchor bolted down the bottom here, so all these anchor bolts now are in, so those stairs aren't going to move at all. Inside down the bottom here in this video also, you saw me enclosing these rack units here, so all the clutter that's on these racks can stay on the inside there, and then the sheets that went on the outside there look quite nice. So I think the only thing really I want to touch on before I close off this series of in this video is just to have a brief discussion about the cost. Now, in the last couple of videos, I had a few comments from people wanting to know the cost of doing a similar project to this. What you can do is, in the video description, I've put the link in to the company that supplied the kit, and they are called Shedblog, and their web address is shedblog.com.au. And you can go onto their site, and they have a number of their popular sizes, if you like, with a guidance to how much those basic kits will cost you. If you want a custom size, then there's also a page on their website where you can go and put in a custom request for a particular size. As a bit of a guidance, this particular mezzanine floor is 6 metres by 4 metres, and just to buy the basic kit, which will get you the steel posts, the bearers, the joists, all the nuts and bolts and screws to put it together, the basic cost of a 6 by 4 metre shed is about 6,500 Australian dollars. Now, if you don't want to have them supply all the material, for about $1,000 you can buy the plans and the engineering certificate from them, and you can go to your local steel supplier and get them to supply all of the C-section steel to the specifications of the engineer certificate. So you could do that. What it won't have is all of the drilled holes where all the brackets and things bolt onto, but you could probably do that yourself and save some money. Now for me, I had to pay extra on top of the basic kit. So one thing I had to get them to do was change the design slightly to get the floor put to the back internally, and they had to do a little bit of design work with that, so I ended up paying a little bit extra for that. I also had to purchase the handrail. So the handrail kit was about another $1,750. The stair kit, the 1 metre wide stair kit that you saw in the video, was about another $1,750. And also I paid a little bit extra more because I got them to up-spec the load capacity of the kit. So normally it comes at 150 kilograms per square metre, and I got them to upgrade the specs so I could put 300 kilograms per square metre, just in case I want to put some heavier loads up there. So if you add all that up, that came to about 10,000 Australian dollars. The other cost I had was putting the flooring on. So what we saw in the video was a blue tongue 25mm or 1 inch thick composite timber material. I ordered that separately. That's not included in the kit because you may want to put something else on the floor. When I ordered that and had it delivered, that came in to about $900. So the cost for everything that we've seen, construction and built in the video, was about $10,900, $10,950, something like that. Is it a lot? I suppose it could be, but for me, the convenience was dealing with the one company that I had it all delivered on site. Everything turned up at the right time. Everything was included in the kit. I didn't really have any problems at all putting it together. And I'm really glad that it's done now, because I've been thinking about doing the mezzanine floor project for about the last 3 or 4 years, and to have it finally done is a really good feeling. So thank you everybody for watching this series of the mezzanine floor. I appreciate everybody's support. Please share, like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.